Hi guys, welcome to the Savvy Money Show with me, your host Sean. If you enjoy any of today's entertainment, don't forget to smash the lovely like button. Helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting the video out to more people. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and bell notification. And if you're looking for a free trading platform on which to trade your shares, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. You'll get a free share for signing up and depositing a small amount. Trading 212 is my favourite, but Stake has more US shares than any other platform. But Free Trade has a wider array of UK shares. They both have fractional shares, and the good thing about Free Trade is you get a free share for depositing just £1. Why wouldn't you? Now on with the show. I'm going to do two videos, one for a crash, one against the crash. That way you won't have my opinion on it. It will be your opinion based on facts that pushes you, because too many videos nowadays on YouTube are people's opinion using historical data. Now I'm going to use another lot of data from history that will show for and against. Today is against. We're going to 1968, another dark day in American history, for different reasons. This year will be political turmoil. I believe it, and this is the only time my opinion comes in. I believe the presidential race will be one of the ugliest ever, purely because you've had people shutting. We saw the last one. You have the Trump haters and people who love Trump who were clashing because of everything that's been building. Everything's a tinderbox. I think it will get even worse now, because you don't allow these people to have a meaningful debate. Hate grows, and someone's love for someone grows because they don't get to see the other person's side. So there is that. We have protests on the streets because of racism. And if we look back to 1968, we see JFK assassinated, we see Martin Luther King assassinated. There was something else. We had the 1968 flu pandemic, also known as the HK flu, which originated from a certain country that the current COVID-19, or the Rona for our friends across the pond, come from. Now, this resulted in 1 to 4 million deaths, and it was known as the H3N2 virus. Now, this was thought to go global and be as bad as the Spanish flu. Luckily, it got stopped in its tracks. Now, does that bear any resemblance to anything going on at the moment? Well, that isn't the only thing. Sorry about this. If we look at the S&P 500, yes, we've had blips, but we look at it from the past 20 years. That blip is nothing compared to the growth. Yes, we had a recession. Yes, we had a crash. But if you'd got in 20 years ago, then you still would have made money. if we look at the graphs from when they started, this is a 90-year historical chart. You know, you will see that even if we stay through a crash, rather than trying to time a market, it is better to hold than trying to time market. Unless you're an expert trader, then it's difficult. There was an expert trader who did a video saying how he was going to sell his shares because he could see a crash coming. The crash hasn't come, and he's out between $40,000 and $100,000 than if he'd just kept his shares. He sold all of his shares because of it, thinking he could time the market. There are the people who think Warren Buffett has predicted a crash. That's why he sold all his shares. In the market, he's sitting on $147 billion of cash. And he is. But what people don't realise is he was in talks with companies in March and April to buy up those companies. That crash has already come. He was in talks with those companies to buy up those companies at a bottom until the Fed came in with their stimulus and the money printer going, "Here, have as much money as you want." And they no longer needed his help. So everyone's saying, why is Warren Buffett sitting on all this cash? He was going to capitalise on it like he usually does until the Fed stepped in and the companies no longer needed his money, and they've created what is known as zombie companies, which means they are reliant on their money. Instead of a company going bankrupt, dragging down the companies that rely on its income and dragging down the industry, and a new company coming up in its stead, they will remain a zombie company for the next 5 to 7 years, where they will be struggling. Now, there's also the other saying, which is you can't fight the Fed, which basically means the Fed has borrowed all this money to give to businesses, to give to people, so that the stock market didn't crash. Now, you could have the argument how if turning off the money printer is harder than turning it on, purely because the minute you turn it off, they know there will be a crash, because people will think, oh no, we've got so much turmoil here. You have the fact that there's the jobs market. You have the jobs market report, 13.69% unemployment, when people thought it was going to be 25%. Now, you have the argument that they made a mistake and it should have been 16.69%. Yes, and all this about, oh, they should have amended it, but they never amend those figures. So, you know, it's all about the way you look at it. And those new amended figures will come out in the next report. And that is why with these reports you don't just skim over them, you read through them. You also look at the fact that this is the best time for IPOs. We've seen IPOs where they have skyrocketed more than any others. You know, we've seen more people get involved in the stock market before, which means people have been using their stimulus checks to go into the stock market because of fear of inflation. They want assets because they think their dollar's going to be worth less. Therefore, they put it in the stock market. While stocks are low, they will secure against inflation. And new investors means new money in the stock market. If they make money on the stock market, they're more likely to invest in the future. So there's a next thing is something that not a lot of people take into account. It's robo-investors. We're getting more and more robo-investing platforms popping up. So all you need is some people going into a lot of people going into a share. Then you get the buy rating hit on a share, and on top of that, a robo platform suddenly notices this market, notices all this movement on this particular industry or share, so it goes in and it pushes up, and it can push up the market on the back of these shares. And these platforms don't watch the news, they don't look at the news, which is why the market effectively doesn't have any ears or eyes to the economy. It just trades on the data of the market. Now, these are my arguments for a crash not happening. There is one more thing. If you don't want a crash to happen, just hit that like and subscribe button. Just kidding. No. Jerome Powell said so. No. But please, if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe button, it really does help. And I'll see you in the next video, which will be for a crash. I'll see you in the next video.